Hello. Okay. Now it's working. Yeah, we're going to try and work on the lower hull today. There. Okay. All right. A5, A1, A4. Of course, that took part of the other one off with it. I need A8. One of the A7s. Who's there? We have a Mittens. Hey, George. Hey, Alex. No, you didn't miss it. I literally just started. Wanted to stream yesterday. As you're all well aware, yeah, kind of had the rug pulled out from under me yesterday, so. And I need a new X-Acto blade. Major Havoc, thank you for the resub. I try and get on during the week if I can. Not always successful. But tomorrow and Saturday, I won't be on at all because I'm working on odd mid-shift. And then, yeah, I'll be on Sunday. I'd like to get this to the point where I'm painting it on Sunday. Hey, mate. Hi, little buddy. Don't, no. It's gonna make you drag ass at work tomorrow. Please don't. I mean, I appreciate it, but not at the risk of your own health. What are you doing? Do I have to make room for Mittens again? Hold on, guys. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. You want lap time, there you go. That's how you get lap time. No worries. I wish, yeah, I can wish in one hand, crap in the other. No, I wish that... I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I wish Twitch had... Hey, Davos. I wish Twitch and Kick had a similar... thing where you could just post a little note on your channel without having to go to Discord and all these other things to let people know. That is a cold nose on the underside of my arm, Mittens. Are you having fun, buddy? Hmm? I start streaming and then you want to be all nice and cuddly? You're weird. Okay, now I need A1. Whatever I don't finish on construction today, if it's nothing too major, I'll probably just do off camera and try and get it ready for painting on Monday or Sunday. Yeah, it is kind of awkward trying to work with you there, bud. So you gotta be careful. Or do you want to try getting on the desk? Come on, Mitty. Come on. He's our shy polydactyl one. Come on. Come here. Oh, come here. Come on. Come on. Up you go, bud. You're okay. There you go. No? Okay. I don't know. Discord is its own ball of trouble lately. With certain lights being shown on things like Roblox, I have a feeling Discord might be under some scrutiny soon, too. Not that I ever played Roblox, but I know my son did when he was younger, and I always had a bad feeling about it. Does Twitch have stories? I never saw a link to it. Well, I know part of my problem has been communicating to people when I'm on, because my schedule is so haphazard. So being able to do that would really help. I'm just not a fan of Discord, to be honest. To me, it's mirroring Facebook when Facebook came around. Oh, everybody's on Facebook. We'll use Facebook for everything. And now it's, oh, everybody's on Discord. We'll use Discord for everything. Oh, it's hard to use something if you don't know it exists. Like, I've never seen a listing for it for me to click on and use. Seeing that it's relatively low noise, maybe it's something that I should look into taking advantage of. It might get more signal out. No, yeah, Facebook is a dumpster fire of bullshit. Problem is, Discord's going that way too. Every time you click on it, there's a new thing popping up. So I have a feeling there's going to be advertising pretty soon. So when I was nipping the drive shafts off the tree, one of the ends just snapped off. Fortunately, it just butts up against this, so after I glue it on, I'm just gonna... I've never used that. Even when it was going by the other name, I always saw it as a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know, Davos. I know exactly what you're talking about. You are preaching to the choir on that one. And Instagram hasn't been much better lately. Eight, 7, 7, 6. Four. So the other day, so here we go. We're going to talk about Humvee some more. I was watching the auctions. I did see some of them go for like 16 grand. The ones that did that were immaculate, impeccable, pristine ones with every single nut, bolt, and everything. There were others that were fully equipped, like so they had all 4 doors in the top. That went for about 6,600. And there's some. I'm going to keep an eye on one because it doesn't have anything wrong with it, except it doesn't have the canvas topper doors, which is fine. I can buy those. I can get those separately, brand new, which would actually be better in that regard. It's got a flat tire. It runs, but it's only listed for $1,000. Starting bid. I'm going to see how that one does. And I'm going to look at how all the different ones kind of do to see if I can start gauging how much they're going to go for. So when the time comes, I'll be able to say, well, this one only has a flat tire, but it's going to go for like this much. And when that happens, I can pull the trigger a bit more responsibly. But it looks like for me to have a fair shake at getting any singular one, I'm going to need at least to save up 10 grand. Alex, thank you. You didn't have to do that. No, the stuff I'm getting tired of is, yeah. We're not going to talk about that because enough people are talking about it. I'm going to try assembling this one like this. I'm probably making a mistake doing this, but whatever. Live dangerously, right? But thank you very much for that. Sorry, try not to sneeze. Now, if I could just get 100 more people to do that, I'd be able to, you know, bid for a Humvee on the next auction cycle. But I don't want to rush it either. If I'm supposed to get one, I'll have the right amount of funds and the time to do it and all that at the right time. If I rush it, mistakes will be made. But I also downloaded VROV Pilot for the Magellan Titanic scan thing. Maybe Saturday after I got off work, since I'll be getting off a little bit late. See, I almost screwed that up. Maybe I can make that like a Saturday night thing, just kind of chill and hang out while we go over the wreck of the Titanic. And it's not like PSVR where it's really crude. It's the Magellan scans that were done a couple years back. They remodeled the wreck in 1:1 scale for VR. Come on. It's a fresh X-Acto blade. There will not be blood. But I think Alex's donation also put us about 1/8 of the way there on the big save. Combined with what I'm going to put in next week. We're getting there. Who's doing that? Hey! Stop that, Mittens. There's scratching toys all around me, and you use the couch. Why is that? I guess when you have 24 toes, you really don't care. Now, A12 and A13. Yeah, the other option I've got, which the wife would kill me because I wouldn't really have a way of getting rid of the extra stuff. Buy 2 wrecked ones at auction for low price, and take good parts off of both and make one running one, and then sell off the rest of the parts. I'm not about to do that. I don't have the space for that. Alex! Thank you very much.
Tip $70. I love your way of talking to people. Love talking to you. This is super nice.
I try. What does, you know... That's kind of what, like... You know, I talk about certain people having a certain way of speaking. Let me start the music back up, so... And that's what makes it difficult for me to watch some people, like... Night Shift I can watch all day. The Model Student, which if you're not subscribed to him, go subscribe, please. He's a regular here as well. There's a certain... I don't know if it's syntax or tone or what. What are you doing back there? Anyway, where was my train of thought going? It's very difficult for me to listen to. It's like fingers on a chalkboard difficult, for lack of a better word. And that's not I'm not trying to be insulting to the person or people in general that I'm speaking about. That's why I'm not naming names. But it's almost like they talk too much about what they're doing. And we talked about it before. They just have a way of making what they're discussing less interesting by over-explaining it. But thank you very much again for that. And I get part of streaming is to talk to you guys. You know, that's not a problem. And I know I get quiet sometimes, but that's because I'm kind of focusing on something. And it's difficult to even discuss this without naming something for reference. Unless you guys have seen the same videos I'm talking about. Oh, you know where it's going, Alex. You know where it's going. It's going to be a big help. It's almost like there's a certain condescending attitude towards the people watching. Like you're better than them. And almost like the technique you're using is some ancient Hindu text we're not allowed to read, but he's sharing it with us anyway. And yet the technique is something that's been around for decades, right? Some people have forgotten it, and other people don't consider it when they work on certain genres. But it's just the way it is. Okay, this one goes this way. And I actually wind up blocking some of those people because they get really invasive in their stuff, like, and how much of it shows up in my feeds, and I have to just turn it off. We're talking like, what's a good example I can use that won't be directly related? We're talking pirate software levels of condescending. Like they know more than we do about the hobby. And I know I don't enter contests much, but when I do, I usually walk home with some jewelry. But a contest should not be your gauge as to the quality of the builder, you know? I would rather see somebody building at a... How can I phrase this so it's not... I don't want to say at a lower level or lower class or lower quality. I would rather see somebody do work that's good at a lower experience level. I would rather see somebody do work that is good at a lower experience level than see somebody talk big that is building at a quality below even that experience level. Does that make sense? I would rather see positive confidence in what somebody's doing than deal with somebody who is so wrapped up in their own image that they're missing the fact that people are laughing at them. And please laugh at me, you know? Wow, Davos. What sprue am I looking for? Charlie sprue, that's right. Speaking of Charlie, we will not be discussing that on this stream. If you want to talk about that, go someplace else. There's about 50 million places discussing it right now on one level or another. I want this to be a time away from it. There we go. God, I hope these line up when I get to the rest of the stuff that goes with them. I'm trying to get them level and straight. Yeah, don't... Yeah, we're... Yesterday's incident, how's that? And I'm not doing it to be, you know, censoring or anything like that. It's just... It happened, you know. That's C44. That does not look like it. C43. No, but isn't Charlie the Cat the one that... Who remixed it? Damn it, the Safety Cat, the UK Safety Cat. That wasn't Future Sound of London. Who was that? Damn it! I'm drawing a blank now. I listen to them all the time when I'm not streaming. Well, it was before a lot of people's time, believe it or not, but then the audio files for the cat were sampled and then used by a music group in the 80s. Was it Charlie the Cat or was it Tommy the Cat? Oh yeah, Charlie Says, so... But who used him in the song? The Prodigy! So it was The Prodigy. Okay, I was right. So, I don't want to play a lot of it because I'll probably get copyright struck, but I'll play a hint of it so you can hear what I'm talking about. So there's the song. But they sampled the kid.
Charlie Says.
And they mixed them together. So if you want to look that up, you can look it up and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, Charlie the Cat itself was 70s, but the song was 90s. Late 80s, early 90s. Hopefully I didn't get a copyright strike notice on that from YouTube. We'll find out. I don't think so. I don't think I played it long enough or loud enough. Anywho, yeah, we're wasting time here. Let's get the other music back on that won't get us censored and shut down. But yeah, look up The Prodigy, Charlie the Cat, if you want something funny to listen to while you're driving. It was supposed to be a public safety thing. try and be on for a bit of time today, too. I know I normally only do 2 hours on weekdays, but I don't have to be in till noon tomorrow. And it all depends on when my wife throws dinner together. Last night, neither of us felt like cooking dinner. So we ordered Cheddar's. I had a Southwest bacon burger. I wish I knew which regular music was safe to play on YouTube. I know there's a way I can, well, if we were doing just Kick and Twitch, I've already got my settings done so the music doesn't show up in the VOD, so it doesn't get me struck for copyright. But if I want to be on YouTube, I can't do it that way. They have live monitoring. Come on. Turn on the heater a little bit. Where'd my kitty cat go? He'll be back. But overall, I like this kit. Thank you to everybody who enabled me to build it. If you want a sneak peek at what our next one's going to be, look up the M978 fuel truck. It's even bigger than this. Come on. Part of me really wants to steer the front wheels on this. Just to give it a bit of attitude. Yeah. Italeri made one way back in when. And through one of your other donations, I was able to put together the funds to get one on eBay. Supposed to be here Saturday. I'll probably print out the tire files here soon enough. Same guy who did the files for the LAV does a set for that too. I just wanted something different that's not World War II stuff, and it's kind of keeping with the theme of 8 wheels. One day I might work on the Striker. I don't know. It's kind of a bland vehicle. I'd rather do a BTR 80, 70 or 80 before I do the Striker, to be honest. The real question is, has anybody else done a new BTR 70 or 80 kit? Because Dragon did one in the 90s. Zvezda repopped it in the 2000s. So has anyone actually done a new one? Okay. A43, A27. Oh, I see how this works. Like, I've even been looking at, like, the ZSU-23 kit that's been made now. And to me, it's not worth that much for the new model. Not the prices they're wanting. I always liked the Shilka. That was a neat looking vehicle. So that's a 45. Alex, thank you for that. You're spoiling me today.
Alex tip 50.
Thank you very much.
Give it a kick in the ocean. Those big trucks are sick.
Thank you very much for that. Which one? Dragon's done about 30 different variations on the Tiger mold that they made back in 2004? I think it was 2004 when they came out with the initial production and started running. Given the censorship I faced trying to do even an upload of an RC Panzer IV, you're not likely going to see World War II German armor on this channel ever, unless it's ruined. It's probably another thing that's put my recovered Burj Tiger plans aside. Okay, I'm beginning to see the pattern here. Okay. Hey, Aries. Aries got a lot of catching up to do. We've had some donations today. If I ever do another Tiger, it will most likely be a late version or maybe a Kampfgruppe Farman, if I said that right, Fairman, however you say his name, the ones that were thrown together from parts at the training school and just put out into the war. They had shipping Zimmerit all over them. But you can't... And this is actually a good example of how correct is correct on tigers. Most of the pictures of the Kampfgruppe Fairman tigers are from, believe it or not, like a year or two after the war. After they've been burnt, after they've been left out in the elements, and all that. So, how much of the damage on them, in terms of like chipped and failing Zimmerit, is due to the combat they saw, or the environment on them afterward, right? Like, how close to the pictures that are out there do you stay trying to mimic that reality, right? Am I being a dumb? No, I am not being a dumb. But the other issue is we really have no documentation of how those vehicles looked. So this is an AA facing this way. Yeah, we've got no real documentation on how those vehicles looked before that happened. This is not making sense to me. Now it is. Okay. But it's still not making sense to me. Yeah, I'm just gonna follow what looks right and not go after the letter and number indications in the instructions, because they've been wrong 4 times now. Yeah, it turns out that was a lie. You gotta think of all the resources that go into making something like Zimmerit, and how that time, money, and energy could go into making a singular tank. That's why they went away from it. And even if it did catch fire, it's such a thin layer overall, is it really that much of a detriment to the vehicle's hull? And people are even beginning to re-examine why it was there. There's been some talk that Zimmerit may have actually played a role in camouflage. Where the fuck did that go? Okay, one moment. There it is. In that, take the side of an M4A3 Sherman. Very flat, very slab-sided, and it's a singular plane that can, even with flat paint, it can reflect a even tone of light back. And exactly, Davos, with the Zimmerit on it, you don't have that flat sheet of metal reflecting light in a singular tone. You have a rough corrugated surface which doesn't reflect that light. Even flat painted surfaces can bounce light back. So Davos knew what I was getting at before I even finished saying it. And I'm actually more prone to believe that than the anti-magnetic thing. Simply because when Zimmerit was first introduced, and you see, I'll get to that in a second too. When Zimmerit was first introduced, the only army using limpet mines of any kind was the Germans. And even the way washes spread and how the darker color collects. Yeah, I really think it's all just camouflage. Somebody was experimenting for a few years. Mm-hmm. It would have gathered mud, gathered dust, which in effect would almost act like a zebra's stripes by putting a lighter color on the underside, leaving the upper surfaces darker, by contrast. It makes more sense in that regard than it does if you just think of it as an anti-magnetic mine measure. And it also stands to reason that supplies were getting low, so they discontinued its use. And they were painting more varied camouflage schemes. Negated the necessity for it. Especially since they were putting loops on the vehicles so they could run wires and have, like, foliage and stuff strapped onto the vehicle. But to me, Zimmerit as an aid to camouflage makes sense. It's odd. It was a waste of resources, and honestly, during that period of the war, wasting Germany's resources was a good thing. But it's interesting what people thought of in that time, too. So if you're building this, do not pay attention to the instructions telling you to put AA and BB. Just make sure your calipers for your brakes are facing inward and rearward, and you'll be fine. But I bet you there is some SS-loving Wehrmacht builder out there that is screeching in his sleep because his feet are on fire because we're discussing this. What do they call the people that only build German armor? Oh, Wehrabus, I think it's called, for the Wehrmacht. and their obsession with it. Ree! No. But if we're going by that reason, why wasn't Zimmerit applied to the 250? The 250 and 251 series half tracks. Why wasn't it applied to the 222s and the other Scout cars that had the big, patches of flat plates? Or was it because the tanks were just bigger and they were trying to hide the barn? Or was the other ones were smaller and could hide behind hedgerows? I think they were trying to make the barn not look like a barn. Oh, I know. I've been watching the news on that, too. And to be honest, maybe it'll take Poland and NATO getting into the fray to make Russia go, oh fuck. No, you're not... Well, that's what I'm getting at, Davos, is the larger vehicles needed the protection more in terms of being able to camouflage themselves, because a 250 or a 251 series half-track could hide behind a hedgerow or behind bushes and stuff like that. When you got things the size of barns rolling around, like the Tiger and the Panther, they don't exactly hide too easily. Bump the mic, sorry. I mean, don't get me wrong. The vehicles on their own are amazing. But even I get a little concerned over the amount of attention they get in some circles. And I'm like, okay guys, yeah. Another thing I'm going to have to look into on this, I don't know if it was... Oh, I know. I know, Alex. And Finland doesn't even need the army. It just needs sniper rifles, and it needs to wait for the winter. Finland is probably the only country that can outfight Russia in the winter. Poland can out-anger them, and then Finland can just out-fight them. But something has to be done, and this is just my personal look at the whole situation with, you know, the events since January. All the aid, all the support, all the equipment has been for naught if one side or the other has not regained lost territory. And nothing's resolved. And that's what we're all kind of tired of. Or, you know, who here has played Generation Zero besides me and Ares? Raise a paw if you played Generation Zero. Can we get Sweden to make those mechs a reality and just unleash those? Not the crazy, you know, brainwashed aspect of them, but just the fact you've got these big metallic dogs and humans and other things running around in the woods. Can we work on this, Sweden? Huh? Oh, Ares just did free hugs. My face! Those are about as straight as I can get them right now. No, but I was going to say I need to work on the hubs for these, because apparently the polycaps don't fit too well. They're loose. So let's find out. Not that I want to go rolling it around, I just don't want the wheels doing that. Yeah, everybody is basically sending shit to the surrounding countries, but no one's dared to set foot publicly. But with what happened in Poland recently, that may change soon. Because I think everybody over there is just on the verge of saying, enough. We've had enough. It's a Red Storm Rising scenario. Russia's lost fuel production. Winter's coming. They're going to strike out at the nearest thing to get more fuel. Whether or not they take the nuclear option is up to them. But this is exactly the scenario Tom Clancy wrote about back in the 80s before even Chernobyl happened. Read that book and you'll get a weird kind of insight into what's going on right now, even without the Soviet connotations. Yeah, I can... I'm just snapping that together for the moment. That's not too loose to me. Yeah, that's fine. Fark it. There we go. Shouldn't have done that until it dried more. Shouldn't have done that. Okay. Note to self, do not test fit wheels until the suspension is dry. I still got to put the A-arms on it. Yeah, I almost got the LAVM. But I figured that would be too close of a repeat to the LAV. So we're going to throw these rims together real quick, though. They're here, may as well do it. But yeah, you hear of these soldiers getting, having certain reactions to the sound of drones. Imagine making the sound of a hunter. You know, that individual isn't going to stop, but neither is the other one. And history has shown us that this is the culture that happens over there when you have these nations fighting each other. They are so historically entwined that they're unable to see past that. And grudges persist. And that's what's happening right now, and both sides have stated it too. That it's Russia trying to reclaim territory it feels that is theirs, and vice versa on Ukraine, you know, defending itself. It's not political; it's cultural. But the big question is, and Patton actually raised it back in the 40s, if we let Russia have it, when will they stop? First was Crimea, now Ukraine. What next? Alright, Davos. Check you later. Definitely be on Sunday. Much earlier in the day, too. And Alex, you should probably be getting to bed too. You're not much further ahead of Davos time-wise. Don't need you guys falling asleep at work more. Even though, to be honest, I almost did today. I did not sleep well last night. Oh. Ow, 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 ow. Wow, we've only been on for an hour so far. It actually feels longer than that. That's a good thing. Good Lord. It's only 1 in the morning, and tomorrow's Friday. Okay, I think that was it for that one. Yep, let me get the next music going. I forget what I played. Shit. I think that one was Neurostatic. Let's go with Night Veil. Yeah, I was watching your videos on lunch break at work, model student. How you doing? Well, I know that, Alex. I like having you guys here, too. There we go. Okay. We're just getting the rims built now. I still have to put the lower control arms on the suspension. I wanted them to dry a hair bit first, where they're still kind of movable, but not so loose. I wanted to check these because I had read at one point somebody had built this and the polycaps were loose, and it allowed the wheels to not be in alignment. And I think it's more that they didn't glue the rims together too tightly, and it allowed the polycaps to go not square in the bore. So I'm also checking the polycaps for flash, which they all appear to have some. And if I feel they're still too loose, I can always throw a little bit of glue on the backside of the rim between that and the brake caliper and just have them stuck vertical. I'm not, but I don't have to be at work until noon tomorrow, and then 10 the next day, so... I'm allowing myself the luxury of being tired today, because I know I get to sleep in. I am fighting the nap trap very, very hard. And just so you know, we are not discussing the incident from yesterday here. If you want to discuss that, please go to one of the other varied forums to discuss that. Yeah, I'm trying to take care on that. I already put one on and realized my mistake. So, yeah, required re-gluing of a part. Oh, you're gonna... Sounds like Alex is gonna be a space cadet tomorrow. Yeah, Aries and I call it the nap trap. Because once you start doing it, you can't stop. I don't know. Ask him. Yes. The hell? No drop frames. My player's having trouble. Sorry about the audio guffaws, but apparently my music player's having a conniption fit. Well, what the hell? Damn it, Bobby. You bugger. Why are you doing this? This kit likes to fight, though, doesn't it? Well, it is Italian. I wonder if this thing's made by Fiat. Hey, Flight Sim. But again, I just want to reiterate, if anyone asks about the events from yesterday, you will be temporarily banned. Because I do not want that here. No, I wouldn't say without all the mistakes, but a whole new set of mistakes. The question I'm asking myself now, though, is, do I appreciate it, or do I just go in and green it? Part of me is thinking pre-shade, especially if I go with like a snowy effect on it, because that'll help give it that wet look, that deeper wet weirdness. I don't know. I'll have to see if Vallejo does a snow effect stuff too. Because like I said, this one's going to be Bosnia mid-90s. Yep, that's what I keep telling people. Vallejo is great, you just have to learn to work with the paint. Unlike trying to work with the AK and ammo stuff, which says they're acrylics but act like enamels. Well, I was looking at yours in the video today, since I didn't even think to pay attention to it before. Is it possible you just misaligned it and didn't get the little square tabs and the square holes? Because right there's a square tab that goes in a notch. If you didn't have those lined up, it would have pushed that center out. I wish I could get back into airsoft. I really do. Hey, maybe once I get the Humvee, I can do that. Kit it out with the turret on top and get an airsoft 40 mil or an airsoft M2. Or even the minigun. There is a 5.56 minigun out there. But I was looking how much it would cost me just to get the turret ring if I were to get a hard-topped one. And... oh, gotcha. But, if I were to get one of the hard-topped ones, like an 1156 or a 1097 four-door with a hardtop, it would cost me $6,000 to get a turret race with hatch. That's another reason I'm going for the soft-top version. But it would be neat to have one that's just fully armed up. At least looks like it's fully armed up, especially in traffic. Grab a couple friends, have one ride in the turret. You need to do that with Vallejo regardless of whether it's skin tone or not. It's better to thin it a hair bit. Just like Games Workshop with their Warhammer paints. You gotta put some water in it. 1.5 light coats. Or am I the only one that remembers that joke? But I also airbrush most of my skin tones as well. Anything small like 35th scale, I really don't bother with them. Oh yeah, we definitely got a storm coming in. We're supposed to get snow in the mountains tonight. Oh my god. Too early for that crap yet. Oh yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, model student, because that's what our next 8-wheel treat is going to be as far as kits. The Oshkosh M978 fuel truck. I figure the 8-wheel thing seems to be working for me, so I'm going to stick with it. And I found the person that did the files for the LAV tires. And he does Oshkosh tires. So I'll be giving the old Italeri kit a new set of shoes, so to speak. That's going to be fun. And everybody in chat right now, whether you're lurking or not, please go to YouTube, go to the model student, and subscribe to his channel. Do it now! Do it! Or I stop stream. Ah! Yeah, I'll make it easy for you. I'll get you a link. Go there, subscribe. Yeah, I broke the tab off on this one for the A arm, the lower control arm, but that's close enough. I think I got it. Well, plus, if I did that, Alex, there are soft top options where you can mount the gun turret into the soft top, but it's a bit more involved. But I mean, if I wanted to get back into airsoft and I had a Humvee, that's how I'd do it. I'd find good outdoor courses where they allow vehicles, and I would be, you know, the vehicle runner. Trying to figure out these sway bar in links. Just a moment. 29, 31, 31. I'm reprinting stuff all the time. Especially if I don't like how it came out. If I can't strip it down, then I just reprint it and start over. Sometimes I'll even go a size up, make it larger. Well, the instructions kind of fuck with you on this. All the calipers should be facing backward. Yet the instructions have you put some of the wrong ones on. And I think I just figured out why. I just figured out why. And they don't tell you to make 2 of them different. Because they have you make 4 of each. But they don't sit... Yeah. So, I figured it out. On the back side, there's the open triangle. That's where the sway bar end link goes. Like I said, my only experience building this was the Model Victoria kit, where everything was molded. Where everything was cast resin. So what I'm going to do is not worry about it, and I'm going to trim the little triangular locating tab off the backs of the ones that go here and here, and just flat glue them. Done. I am not going to waste time fretting over something that, well, let's see. It sure did get muddy in Bosnia, didn't it? I think I have some pictures of the mud over there. Let's find out. Story time. The American involvement. Ooh. Look at that, 984. Anyway. But people ask, you know, what I really want to do with the Humvee. I want to make this vehicle. Right? I can buy the antenna mounts off eBay cheap. So once I finally wind up with a Humvee, then I'll start buying the antenna mounts. But I want to physically recreate a Humvee that's fitted out like this. But anyway, we're looking for pictures of the mud. Oh yeah, look at that! Look at that mud! I think there's more. Oh, this book is indispensable. Hey, look at that! The 978 with the older style tires on it. Oh, hey, LAV25s. See, this is the kind of look I want to have on the Centauro. Maybe not as muddy as how this Bradley is, but a little snow on the base, but not too much on the vehicle. Just enough to let you know that, hey, it snowed. Come on, where is it? There was a picture that showed some Humvees just in the mud. Different uniforms. Now, this is a strange picture. No, where did it go? Yeah. So you've got a Marine, right? It's very obviously a Marine, 7-peaked cap. But why is he standing next to an AS-90? That's a British artillery piece. Let's go back and see if I can find that. And this is just the American section of the book. Oh, yeah. Mud. So, moving on. But yeah, this book is a great resource for late Cold War military stuff. Great book. Even different greeting cards you could buy at the PX there. The time this is going on, I was in Phoenix. Luxembourg. Belgian contingent. Some landmarks there. I think there was even pictures of the famous bridge that stood through all, like, it went through hundreds of years of occupation and war. It saw the Romans, the Goths, it saw Bonaparte, it saw Napoleon, World War I, World War II, didn't fall. Then it got blown up. And it was repaired back in the 2000s. They tried to recover as much original material of the bridge as possible, and then they used the original construction methods, even so far as pouring metal ties into the stonework like they had done originally. The Belgians were using South African vehicles even back then. I know the glare is kind of killing it. Ukrainian forces, Russian forces. See, maybe a BTR would be neat to do next. United Kingdom. Australians, New Zealand, Malaysia, Indonesia. I actually do have the second book that has all the other nations in it. Pakistan, Nepal, Canada. If you want some references on the Canadian Grizzlies, they were the ones using the upgraded hubs and tires as well before the Marines did the Surface Life Extension program. Sorry, I know I'm getting sidetracked, but this is just a cool book. Oh, and Italy. There's not too many pictures of the Centauro in this. I've tried finding them. There's only 2. And that's right here. There's that one and this one. Same vehicle. I think I've got some leftover S4 markings I can put on it. Most of the times, if you look up the Centauro from use in Bosnia, they've got that weird side skirt assembly over the back tires. But this is one of the few pictures I've found that they don't have that. Let's see, where's Denmark? I think they're in the other one. Netherlands. Did somebody take the big cats for a walk where they shouldn't have gone? The BRDM would be a neat one to do too. I think Dragon had that kit for a while. I don't know. Go into... If you guys want to see me build something different and weird, go into the communities page on YouTube, HFs, and just throw out ideas for subjects. I'm open to it. There we go, Denmark! And look what's on the first page. Maybe I should convert my Leopard to that version. Yeah, but this book, if you're looking for end of Cold War type stuff, this book's indispensable. And it's expensive as hell now. There's 2 volumes, like I said. But yeah, we're going to get a little cheeky with how we're doing some stuff here, because the instructions were clear as mud and led us astray. But you guys probably always wonder why I have such a stupidly didactic memory for that kind of stuff. It's because I've got all these books for this. And it's not some curated thing like Jane's Guide or anything like that. It's literal. I've seen what they're like there, so I know how they are. Yep, no worries. Get the pupper to poopin'. Fortunately, the mistake I've made is going to be very invisible behind the tires and under a layer of dirt and mud. So I'm not too worried about it. Sorry, my legs are also giving me a bit of a fit today. I really think winter's going to be hitting early this year. Yeah. I wanted to stream yesterday, but then, yeah. I wasn't in the right place mentally for it. This project probably would not have seen completion had I streamed yesterday. But this is easily as detailed as the Model Victoria kit, so anyone who shits on this kit needs to get their eyes checked. A30. I know we've been at this for an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes now. I was hoping to be onto the upper side of the upper hull by now. I forgot how involved the suspension of this vehicle actually is. And we've been talking and going through books and stuff, so... And that's part of the fun, isn't it? It's not just building the model, but it's seeing where the information and the ideas can come from, too. There we go. So that will be 31. And that will be 29. Okay. But I just love how the most prominent depiction of Denmark's involvement in Bosnia was the Leopard 1A4. Or A5 too, yeah. It's the A4 turret on the A5 standard. Yeah, I tried looking that up, and I tried looking up the new ACV for the Marines. Because I really believe that the ACV is the Piranha 5 in Marine service. And the hubs look the same, just a lot of the vehicle looks the same, just different for the Marines, if you know what I mean. There's only one kit out, and it's made by a company that does 3D printed models. Who's that? Do we have mittens again? We have mittens again. Well, at least it's not Allie shoving her butt in our face. Come on, go to your hole. Come on. Don't embarrass me in front of my audience. I don't know, does Fiat make this thing? You okay? You just shook. Yeah, you just had a shaky shake. You okay, buddy? Huh? I'm just saying that externally, the turret that it uses is what everybody else considers the 1A4 turret. Because by German standards, the 1A5 had a cast turret. Whereas yours was a 1A4 turret, but a 1A5 standard on the inside. And from what I can gather, the 1A4 turret was probably a lot more comfortable for the crew. But I know it varies from country to country, too. Who needs what, why, and where. See, that one fell right in. Thank you. There we go. I have to modify this one on both sides because of how I screwed up. And 2 more pieces on this side. One thing I am not looking forward to on this is the photo-etched steps that go on the side of the vehicle. They might be easier in 35th scale than they were in 72nd scale. The Model Victoria ones I remember being a pain in the butt too. Excuse me. There. But from what I can tell, this has 4-wheel steering that can be turned on or off, depending on what the driver wants. Or not 4-wheel, 8-wheel steering. You keep popping out. What are you doing, Mitt? Oh, sorry. It does feel good to be getting a weekday stream in, though, that's not my day off. I just hope everybody has a good weekend and remembers me while I'm at work. I'll be off Sunday, but not Saturday. Okay, now that all that's done, we're gonna leave the wheels off. And if all this is inside detailing, I can leave that off too. Where are you going, bud? I think all that is inside detailing. Ugh, excuse me again. He's shedding again. Yep. Okay, that'll go there. I'm not gonna have my rear hatch open. Without an interior, it's kind of pointless. There's the B sprue, C sprue. Cat hair on the face. Thanks, Mittens. Yeah, I think it was them and the British and the Russians. There were some countries that started doing it after that, but not a lot. But it was still nice seeing the leopards in their black and green camo, covered in mud. And the thing is, you really don't hear a lot of, like, what happened there. Like, you see the amount of stuff that got deployed. And outside of a couple films which take liberty with it, one of which being the first Behind Enemy Lines, which is more of an awareness film than anything. They did, I hate to say it, they did get a lot right in terms of what it was like. Obviously it was actioned up, but for what they were portraying, they got a lot really, really right. But at the same time, other films which did it better, like, well, I don't want to say they did it better, because I'm not thinking of it as like an action movie or war movie kind of thing. I'm looking at it more from a convey a sense of what was happening over there. And you can still find it on DVD. It was made by the BBC. I think it was a miniseries, and then it got released as a film as well. It's called Warriors. And the name's got multiple meanings, but the main one being that they were a detachment of British warrior APCs. And that film covers the genocide that was going on over there at the time. The ethnic cleansing. And it shows how confusing it could be to be there as well. And I hope that as time goes on, we stop seeing more and more yet another D-Day film, right? And we see more stuff about that. I think that's important now. My brother's ex-wife is also from Bosnia. His daughter is from their marriage, not from his current marriage. I think he's too old to have another kid now. He's older than me by quite a few years. And I know I'm too old to have another kid. I've never really talked to her about it. She was in Sarajevo while all that was going on, so it's not something that I really think she wants to talk about. Because she was also of the group of people that was being ethnically cleansed. C18. Okay. What am I not seeing? Okay. Oh, I know. Alex, I know full well what was going on over there, and the duality of having to deal with it is just very disgusting. And that's why I say Warriors does the best to convey what it was like to be in the middle of it and effectually do nothing. And not because you don't want to, but because you're told not to. A22. Huh. It looks like the parts for the Spanish version are in this too, and it comes with the German style smoke dischargers. Yeah, I wish Warriors was available for more people to see. And I hate to say it, but I think the mindset behind what was going on in Yugoslavia at the time, Bosnia and all that, is quite similar to what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, but on a much more grand scale. And aside from when we lost a couple of aircraft over there, I think one was that lucky shot on an F-117 when it had its bay door open. At least from the U.S. perspective, it was just little blips on the evening news. Nobody really talked about it. I don't think I'm right in that, because obviously there was a religious motivation behind what was going on in Yugoslavia. But it's the same attitude from very similar cultures from the region. That. Do I want to open the driver's hatch or not? I really need to see about getting a crew for this. Let me go to eBay. There's the crow I was looking at before. Watched item reminder. Yeah, I bought it already. No, that one's in Denver. Yeah, I don't need that. No, that's from Thailand. I am not... No. But looking at the uniforms, their helmets are same as Cold War US ones, basically. I'm going to see if I can find a set of Tamiya modern tank crew. Let's go Amazon. Tamiya's older figures, the uniforms are indistinct enough that you can make them pass for other countries if you wanted to. Nope, that's too modern. Yeah, I'll probably have to look more off stream. I know such a thing exists. I just don't want to have to buy an M113 or an Abrams, because typically they only give you one figure. Yeah, I'll have to look after stream, but I'm not buying these from Thailand because they're resin, which means they're probably knockoff, and they are not good. So driver's hatch we'll leave off for now. They do the same thing in Alaska, Alex. So the external winch system. Okay, the other one fell off. Where did it go? I think I only need 3, but I'd like to know where the 4th one is, just in case. Nope. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look through the bits, because apparently another piece went walkabout. Give me just a moment. Because we have literally had pieces falling off the sprue and I didn't know it. That might be what I heard fall last night without knowing it. Okay, let me check the floor real quick, because they were there earlier. I'm gonna have to get down for just a moment. Ow, 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 ow. There go the hips. Yay, old age! Yeah, this won't stop the build. I could scratch build it if I absolutely have to. Just gonna double check from where Arnie knocked over the box yesterday. Damn, I'm good. Yeah, it was these little suckers. You probably had the same trouble on your kit. They just fell off the sprue. I think it's simpler to consider how many did they have to begin with, and out of those airframes, how many of them were serviceable? And that said, how many unserviceable airframes are sitting on an airfield somewhere waiting to be put back together? Because even when I went to Bulgaria, there was MiGs just sitting on the end of the runway at the local civilian airport, just derelict. So that's the real big issue. Is the Russians don't even know what the fuck they have or where it is. That little bugger? Yeah. I dropped that on the carpet too. But I got it back. And I thinned this out a lot so it would conform better and sit down lower. Okay. Why are my lights flickering? Maybe I'm just going crazy. I wouldn't so much as call it an issue, aside from the fact that the Russians have issues maintaining things. But that's also the worry. Like, there's even a T-55 near where I live on the base. By the EOD building. It's been sitting there since the first Gulf War. I bet you $5 if you gave me some batteries, an air compressor, and a few gallons of diesel, I could get it to bark over. I don't think the base would be too happy if I did it, but I bet you I could have it happen. The reason I say an air compressor is Russian tanks typically use an air starter system. Yeah, there's been some speculation on that, just like how a Panzer IV turned up in the middle of all this in the Ukraine. Turns out it was one that had been previously knocked out, resurrected for a movie, and then moved outside as a decoy. And I think they even traced it down to being an ex-Syrian tank that had been knocked out. Which is a shame because it was a real Panzer IV hull and it had been used for this purpose. It could have been, you know, at least put in a museum. It belongs in a museum. Oh, wait. So, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, though, I'll probably work on finishing the details on the upper part of the hull over between today and Saturday evening. That way I can have this ready for paint on Sunday and Monday. Yeah, I make that joke at work when we're talking about stuff. I'm like, yeah, I've got a dumpster brain for useless trivia. At least I think it's useless. But that's me. Well, the T-62, that's the weird thing about the T-62 and T-64, especially. They are essentially T-80s. So it's quite possible that they put T-80 guts in them and sent them on their way after a fresh paint job. I don't know the exactness of it, and that could still all be propaganda and a rumor. But the T-62 and the T-64 are the tanks that became the T-80, just like the T-72 is the tank that became the T-90. And the only reason they call it the T-90 is because the T-72 got its ass handed to it so badly during the first Gulf War that they couldn't sell them to any other foreign markets. So they rebranded it T-90, gave it a different external armor package, and sent it on its way. And now they're seeing just how useless the T-90 is, that it's as bad as the T-72. Why would that be? And I'm sure there's somebody out there that will nitpick the minute details of the difference between the T-90 and the T-72, but they're the same hull, and outside of the T-90A with a welded turret, the T-70 or the T-90 with the round cast turret is the same as the T-72's turret. No, I think we'll worry about what Russia's doing in that regard when they decide to see about getting the mouse put back together in Kubinka. If they're rolling the mouse out, that means they're really hurting. Because that thing is gutted. There's nothing inside it except some extra bogey components. There we go. So see, another reason I want to do this one dark green, right here, and you could probably do this on yours, model student. This is for drainage right here. So if you've got any kind of wash or streak effects, run stronger elements of lines coming down from the corners here around everything, just to show how the dust is getting washed down. Because like you were explaining on your video, how you had noticed that there was green in the countryside and stuff like that. It snows there too. It snows and rains just like any place else in the world. I know people think, ooh, desert, it's like the northern Sahara. No, especially in the Mideast, it's much more temperate up there than most people realize. The desert areas like Qatar and Saudi and, you know, southern Iraq, yeah, they're pretty desolate. You know, that's the same place the Tuskegee Airmen flew out of in World War II and things like that. But when you start getting up north into Beirut and northern Israel and Syria, where they all kind of mesh together right there, it is extremely mountainous. And it's extremely temperate, too. There's literal forests up there that people don't even think about. Well, that's where everybody learned to aim for, was the seam between the turret and the hull, regardless if it's the T-90 or the T-72. Any Russian tank, even the T-80, has the same mechanical philosophy. It's slightly different externally, but it's the same overall school of thought. And autoloader means one less person. One less person means more room in the turret overall, which means they can make a lower turret, and so on and so forth. And that's why the Russians are great. They're the turret frisbee championships of the world right now. Between the 1990s and now, nobody else has tossed turrets as far and high as they have. Or was that being too mean to the Ruskies? There we go. God, this thing looks fast for an armored vehicle. Yeah, maybe they ought to call what they did to the T-72 the poltergeist phenomenon. They moved the headstones, but they didn't move the graves. Yeah. They changed how the turret looks, and some minor things on the hull, but it's still the same tank. This is a weird sounding mix. Not that I don't like it. I'd love to hear what this part of the song sounds like on 5.1. Maybe later I'll go back and listen to that. I'm only on headphones, and they're not the greatest. But I'm hearing some bass distortion that might sound really good on my sub. So who does make this thing? Fiat? Lamborghini? Who's the subcontractor for it? I think it's Iveco, or Iveco, however you pronounce that, to be honest. I think I messed up a couple things on the side here, I'm not too sure. But never fear, I have found pictures of this with dun, da, 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 camouflage netting. So we might be putting some green netting on this bugger. Because I can. Let me know when y'all get tired of seeing camo netting on things. Too late. So, okay, it is Fiat. Fix it again, Tony. I was only joking when I said fiat earlier, too. Now I'm kind of disappointed. Which, by extension, being Fiat in the 90s, means it was also a Chrysler product. Ugh. Give me 1 sec, model student. I can save you some time and effort. Ah. Where did it go? Follow this link. Oh, it didn't work. Damn it. This is the stuff that I used on the... There we go. That's the stuff I used on the LAV. And for a little bit on the Fennec. You get all 3 colors, 1 pack. Just be sure you select the right scale. It's there for 35th and 16th scale. Just remind me to get the crew, but not the resin one, because I'm not buying recast resin figures from Taiwan. Or Thailand, or wherever they're from. Oh, another thing to add, if you've got any black pastels, that's the exhaust. Be sure you blacken the area right under here. Just look at some pictures of real ones and you'll find it easy. Diesels are dirty. There's that. And A9 times 2. Well, I noticed that the uniforms and everything are no different than American Cold War uniforms in this scale, so I'm just going to get a set of Tamiya crew figures and go from there. I'll do that after the stream, though, or I'll waste too much time looking. I at least want to get this side of the hull done before I end, because it is getting near dinner time, too. Oh yeah, it is definitely dinner time. But today has been an excellent stream, and I'm glad you all have been here. It is a shorter one, but it's also a weekday one, so I'm afraid I can't do much longer than this. Just because of other obligations. I'm still looking for good STL files for those, Alex, because I want to just print my own, because I know I can. I forgot how big this thing is. Like, it's a biggin. I think the wife just tried messaging me. Yep. Okay. She was asking about when we wanted dinner started, so yeah, let me get these glued on and we'll probably be ending the stream. But I think I'm gonna try pre-shading on this. Crew is the first thing I need to get. So I can get the MG3 sorted out on the turret. But then I want to see what Vallejo offers in terms of ice and wet effects to put on the hull to simulate runoff from thawed snow and ice and water. I think they have something. I'll have to look. We had those the other night. We're doing shredded steak sandwiches with American cheese and probably some mac cheese to go with them. And Nathan's hot dogs. Once you have Nathan's, you'll never go back to any other brand. Especially if you boil them in a little beer. And it doesn't even have to be alcoholic beer, just for that little bit of flavor. If it's the same crew that I've been looking at on eBay, it's not that great. It's a 3 half-figure set. I will be on, hopefully, Sunday afternoon, evening, your time. Possibly Saturday night. We might do a VR ROV Titanic stream. That I don't know. So, we'll see. But like I said, I want to get the crew sorted out for this tonight. At least get them on the way here. And then I want to look into Vallejo's weathering stuff, like their other stuff that I use, like this. And see what they have in terms of wet effects and like ice and snow effects. Just so I can add a little to the vehicle and on the ground around it. I have a picture forming. It'll be a small base like the LAV had, but enough to convey the atmosphere that I want. So, and again, if you guys aren't, go sub to Model Student's channel on YouTube, please. He's nice enough to be here. I want to be nice enough to be there. And I want to bring you guys with me. So we're going to go for now. Thank you again, Alex, for your generous donations. They will go towards a couple different things, but primarily the big project for next year. That's okay, Model Student. And I think it was... Who was it that resubbed? Where did that go? I want to say that was Major Havoc that resubbed. Yes, it was. Major Havoc for the resub. Davos, thank you for hanging out. I know he's gone. Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. And I will hopefully see you Sunday. If not Saturday night, I'll be doing the Titanic stream. So catch you later. Have a good evening. Or morning.